What's going on, Pisces? Welcome to your Burning Questions reading. This is a timeless reading, but I hadn't done one for a while, so I wanted to throw one together for you, see what happens and where the energy took us. So far, they have been beautiful. So the question we're asking is, what do I need to nurture? Now, the answers have been absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to dive into see yours. So let's do this, okay? So I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so let's dive in here and see where we go with this, Pisces. Oh, I'm so excited for your sign to see where this takes us. Let's do this here. Pisces. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces? The moon. Oh. Showing up in a little bit of your own energy. This is more Cancerian energy, but I feel like this is you too. Like you, I feel like you guys kind of share that. Temperance. Two of Wands. And the Four of Pentacles. Okay. So this position has been the story of how the light gets in, and I just heard through the crack of least resistance. Oh, good times. Good times. So with the moon card here, I feel like there's a little bit of like it feels like maybe there's some things that are hard to grasp at right now because you can't really see them. You can feel them, and you know this. There's an intuitive connection here. But this is also part of your power. I feel like this is part of your power, and I feel like you're embracing. So the embracing energy here is one of some balance, but also expansion and integrating things. So even if you can't see things, I feel like you're showing up in your strength right now to nurture. The thing you're nurturing right now, Pisces, is 222 on the time. You're nurturing this sort of being able to take one base element and turn it into something different. So even if you're uncertain or you feel fear or there's, you're not really sure what's happening. There's, uncertainty from the ego is one thing. We don't need that necessarily, but this is like stepping into and away from this energy. It's like you're able to balance this and really integrate the lessons from it in a powerful way. And I think that's your superpower right now, to embrace, is your ability to be in touch with your emotions and to take the one emotion and have it turn into something that is more powerful and a power unto itself. And I think the thing that we're releasing here is being in this like indecisive planning mode. Like you can only be in planning mode before you have to execute on something. And it could be that you feel like you don't have enough information. Let me move these down so you can kind of see them. There we go. You could be in this planning mode because you feel like you don't have enough information, but I feel like you really do, because this is like, this is how the light gets in, is by releasing a little bit. So it's like you're hanging tightly to this, and I almost get it as like holding these plans close to your chest. You can't really see, but you're holding these plans close to your chest because you're like, I can't, no one can see these yet. Oh my gosh, no one can see them yet, right? But it's like there's something that you have to release in that. Like it's a surrendering to the universe a little bit more and trusting in the universe as well, but also trusting in your efforts as part of that. Trusting in your efforts because you've got it down. You've got it down. I feel like there's something that you really do have. You do have more power in and with than you might be assuming right now, Pisces. So the moon card is clarified by the Hanged Man, the Tower, the High Priestess, and the Two of Wands. Yeah, that's in the Devil energy and the Ten of Cups. Oh my goodness. So I feel like this is a lot of like, now Pisces, your Neptune, your ruler, is showing up here. I feel like your intuition is going to help you see things. Now, the Tower indicates that you may not like what you see necessarily, but I feel like it's a slow awareness. This is more the thing that you didn't like. This could be something you see about yourself, especially because we outlined an internal process. So it could be something that you're seeing, but I feel like the Tower is also a realization, right? It could be that you're realizing how much power you have, and the Hanged Man goes up in that position because they're not really sure. They're not really certain. Right? But this is also an ego thing too. Like why do you need certainty in order to act on something? right? So this could be you surprising yourself too. The Tower is just a surprise. So I think that you could be surprising yourself in this, and you may not see that coming. Like, you may not see how this is working in your favor, but it is. And absolutely, this is like a suspended emotion. Like, the Devil is showing up as kind of like outdated habits, or habits that don't really work for us. And it's kind of clarified by this Two of Wands. So that tells me that that's where this storyline is absolutely coming from. Is like, it's an old story you've told yourself about not being enough, not knowing enough, not having enough, all of the things that put you under this Moon card here, that you're alchemizing and taking from a worry or fear or an old story, and you're turning it into freaking gold. That's what's so good about this. You know how I know it's gold? Because at the end of every rainbow, that's what sits there, right? According to the legends, at least. But this is your wish fulfillment. This is your pot of gold. This is what you're turning it into. You're turning this lack of knowing right now, this little bit of uncertainty, into something that's really powerful for yourself. And the Moon can just be things that you don't know. Like, it doesn't just mean like a nebulous uncertainty that, like, what does that mean? Like, it's not necessarily like that alone. I feel like this is also indicative of, illusions that you have about yourself. So this could very well be, as we go through, we'll see more of this, but it'll tell the story more. But it could very well be about your confidence and sense of self and command that you have over yourself. So I think this Moon card is really about releasing illusion, but then also integrating the lessons of it in the Tower that may not have been great to see. But then this High Priestess is this internal knowing of what to do next. And I think that you recognize that the Ten of Cups is on your path. It's not about like when it's, that was loud. Sorry about that, your precious ears. It's not about if it happens. It's about when it happens, right? It's about when the Ten of Cups happens. So how do we surrender? Right? The light gets in the crack of least resistance. So why not expand the crack of least resistance? Surrender. Don't fight what is. Yeah, don't fight what is. My goodness. Do not fight what is. Do not fight what is. Yeah. Embrace everything from your heart center, which includes the unknowns, which includes the uncertainties. Right? It includes all of that. Queen of Cups and the Ace of Swords. This is the truth of your power right now. I think that you need to nurture more of your capacity. This is like your superpower. Maybe this is like a clair that you have, like clairaudience or clairvoyance that you can pick up on things. Like, this could be a psychic gift because it's under the Moon and under your ruling planet Neptune, and the High Priestess is here. Like, this could be nurturing your psychic gifts, Pisces. And the ways that they inform so much of what you do, and add the you in it. It's the you in it. You know, I like to leave comments that like focus on positives and things like that in on other readers' channels and all of that stuff, because I just like to elevate that. Sometimes I'm like, this is uncomfortable, and this is why, and I'm grateful for it because it's making me aware of it. But then other times it's the them in what they do that makes it so amazing, that like the tarot market seems pretty saturated at times, but it's not, because it's the you in it that makes it unique. It's the you in it. Any market can be super saturated, right? But yet the restaurant market, super saturated, but a new one is opening up all the time because it's the them in the product. I mean, the restaurant does have a high turnover, but like in general, if that rule stood that it didn't matter or wouldn't matter, they wouldn't open anything else. They wouldn't open anything else. Two of Wands, Two of Cups, Knight of Wands, King of Cups, Three of Wands. Yeah, it's moving from like if to when here. Like, you're moving from this sort of this if energy into a place of more connection. This can be connection to self. This can also be soulmate energy. So you could be connecting with someone that may like it, but this is also like ideas that seem like fleeting. Like, this is that in and out energy, right? It's non-committal energy. So this is like non-committal energy towards self. So it could be a realization too, that if you're not committal towards your own ideas, towards your own goals, your own projects, you're going to draw in non-committal people in partnerships too. That could be part of this Tower where you're like, oh, right. Right. And that's not to say that that's the reason why things don't work out, but that can inform your sort of review of those situations. It can inform your review of those situations. So when you pull back, you can see, oh, this is how I've been manifesting connection and partnership, because when I connect to myself and my life and my goals, and I occupy all the space in it and expand in it, this is what is clear to me about how I'm treating myself. So now I'm going to remedy that. And then step into a whole other kind of energy. This King of Cups and Three of Wands, positive expectation informed by emotions that are established, mature, here to stay, and do command a decisive energy about them because they are sure of what they want to invest in. So, and I think that results in kind of that positive lift and boost that you might be looking for, Pisces, or needing even for yourself. Because sometimes this is a boost to realize that, like, we can feel like we're at the whims of something, but when you realize that it's you, the whole time that's amazing. Because once you get past the responsibility that you have to take and the accountability, that kind of like icky, like, oh, feeling, then, oh my goodness, then you can step into this totally different energy. Because that is radical responsibility, because you've been radically honest with yourself. 11:11 on the time. So when you've been both of those things, you can be pretty unstoppable. That's when your ships come in, because you're in that place of not just knowing and understanding what to do, but you're doing it. You can't take radical responsibility and be honest with yourself from that equally radically honest place. Without it, you can't really do those things. Now, the Four of Pentacles, what have we got here for that, Spirit? Four of Pentacles. Oh, just all the cards. I'm just going to take the Judgment card out on that one because it was on the top. Yeah, this is like the expansion of your crack of least resistance, I think. Pluto energy is transformative energy. So that would hold for me, I think. That's the energy that's being transformed right now. Your crack of least resistance is expanding. And sometimes it's just like embracing what's happening and not fighting it and not being like, ugh, 12:12 on the time, and not feeling like it has to change for you to be happy, because you be happy first, and then the way becomes clear as to what needs to change. The way becomes much clearer about what needs to change. Spirit, what message do you have for Pisces to close out this part of the reading, please, on what we need to nurture and the story of how the light gets in? The Queen of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. Yeah, you're very clear. This is like the clarity piece, like your crack of least resistance. I keep going back to it because it's just so good. It expands, and that allows you. And this is like the tool that you use to expand that. And it comes from clarity. And clarity of what? Clarity of perspective. Clarity of perspective. It's not just about knowing what you want or knowing what you don't want. This is also about understanding and comprehending where you are, and not putting up a fight to it, because you're in it, right? And this is like releasing the fight. This is like releasing the fight of the present moment. This is like impatience. This is like, okay, where's my stuff? Give me my stuff, right? This is you releasing that and embracing what you have, where you are, and the why that makes it so damn sweet, even with all the other things simmering in the background on their way to you. This was a very concise reading, Pisces. Like, just bam, 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 bam. I want to make it longer, so I'm going to pull a couple extra oracle cards, and not just to make it longer for the sake of itself, but because I feel like there's a lot here, but also it's just super clear. Like, it's very clear to me. And I want to see if I can clarify and get into some granular details for you. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces, please, on what we're nurturing right now, what we need to nurture relative to all of these cards and our superpower? Most people are just trying to survive. I feel like this is like, have a little more compassion for yourself, Pisces. Just have a little more compassion for yourself. Right? Because that's going to allow other people to have compassion for you too. And it's not about like, do that and then other people do it. It's because the energetics of compassion expands in your system and then moves outward. Right? And that's a healing energy. That's a really healing energy for you. Convince yourself, not others. A couple signs have gotten this, and I think it's really important. I'll read the back to you. The need to clarify, explain, or justify oneself in personal relationships is always self-serving. What's important is knowing the truth about why you felt the need, because it often points to insecurities that could be dealt with in more effective ways. And that really does hold true on this Two of Wands, like being in a perpetual state of planning things, right? When you're in perpetual planning mode, it's really hard to gain ground and traction to do because you're in this uncertainty. So I'll read that last part to you again. What's important is knowing the truth about why you felt the need to clarify, justify, or explain, because it often points to insecurities that could be dealt with in more effective ways. And that could be an insecurity too. And keeping with that, I'm going to pull from the chakra deck here. That was a non-shuffle. Oh my goodness. Transmutation. Holy shit, Pisces. That's that energy of the Temperance card, this transmutation. That's like you're turning something. Anyways, okay, I'm going to read this because this is cool. Let me move this though. I release the negative thoughts and expectations of myself, others, and the world. It is easy for me to transform negative beliefs and expectations into positive and supporting ones, and so I do. I recognize the power of my thoughts and words as they vibrate through the universe, creating my future reality. I transform. Yeah, there's a lot of this here. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pull one more because we got time and I'm nosy. I'm just curious. It's the Gemini. It's the gem. Both? Okay, both. That's fine. All right, sensuality. Ooh, Pisces. So I don't know if that was creepy or not, but if it was, I'm sorry. Sensuality and pleasure are my birthright, to be experienced with blissful joy. I honor and embrace my sexuality, recognizing the sacred sexual connection with myself and the intimate partner of my choice. It is safe for me to be sensual and sexual and be respected for this. Pleasure and enjoyment are good, clean, and healthy. I experience pleasure. I think this is pretty important. I think this is like, it's connected to this sense of like the 10 of Cups here, where it's like there are certain things you don't know, but you can like feel your way through, which you know what, we're just gonna leave that, forget it. But it's like there's like dipping into this sensual part of you. That too is information that your intuition can use, right? Your senses provide so much information for you. They lend such a beautiful array of it's such a wide array of knowledge to you. It's so vast. It's so vast. So it's tapping into that as well. And what I'm seeing too is this expansion of a way of knowing. So again, psychic gifts, they are ways of knowing. Your clairs are senses. Your clairs are a sensual knowledge. So natural world. Maybe a call for a hike. I've seen this card before, and I always, so maybe it might be important to get outside. I am one with nature, and nature is one with me. I honor the rhythms of nature and flow with the seasons. I walk upon this earth gently but firmly, as my ancestors have done before me. I know when to move forward and when to retreat, when to cultivate and when to grow, when to yield and when to harvest. I belong. And this is, I think, about being in tune with the seasons, but also being in tune with your seasons as well, Pisces. Being in tune with your seasons. And the amount of psychic energy here is, wowza. Like, that's a lot in one go. So it's keeping in mind how to channel it all. And also that, I find it so interesting, too, that my, psychic gifts and things like that, they factor into the seasons differently. Right? Like in summer, it's like my visuals are so attuned. And then in fall, I find that my olfactory senses are stronger, which is, I think, smell. Right? And then that's like clairsentience amps up around that time as well. And like in winter, there's like claircognizance. It's very interesting. But like it's seeing if your clairs have seasons as well, because they're attuned. I find that mine are very in tuned to, or in tune with, cycles and seasons. And like even this is possibly oversharing, but like before I transitioned, even my menstrual cycles were in tune with the moon. And if it happened on a full moon, it was a very emotional time. But on a new moon, I always found it to be harder on my body. And like I journaled this for years to really understand it. And even something like PMS, like people say like, oh, you're PMSing. And it makes me so furious when people do, because it too is a sense. The reason why I say this is, so I don't even know why, period talks, why not? It's a fact of life, so deal with it if somebody's uncomfortable. I mean, I still want you here, and I appreciate that, and I'm sorry, but also, this is important stuff. Like, people would, dismiss PMS and things like that as like, oh, you're just doing this, it's just a low mood. No, I found that when I was menstruating more, I'm kind of ceremonially releasing this as taking testosterone basically gets rid of my period. But I would find that the things that would annoy me the most and make me the most frustrated in that really highly sensitive time, and it is a highly psychic and sensitive time, I found that what I would be compelled to dismiss as PMS would actually become something that would really threaten or jeopardize my ability to parent a child effectively as a newborn. So it was almost like my body had this survival instinct and sense built into or baked into that whole process. And, it's like we dismiss those things that come up like, oh, I'm just really frustrated and annoyed today. But listen to it. That's a sense, right? What is it telling you? Because sometimes we'd be frustrated about the same things. The same things would frustrate me. And that would tell me and inform me, oh, this is actually like if I brought a child into this world, that thing would disconnect me profoundly from my ability to effectively care for and nurture that baby. For example, like if there's like stuff in the kitchen everywhere, and like I can't focus on like cleaning or cooking when I want to because I have to clean, right? So, and this isn't like a huge deal. It's just an example because I know that it's something my friends have talked about a lot and whatnot. But it's like then, so if you're annoyed about that, it's not the dishes. It's the leaving things behind until another time so that you have to deal with it. That's the energy that would threaten your ability to parent a child effectively, 2 on the time. So it's like sinking deeper into those things and not like looking for the deep meaning in everything, but understanding that I feel like there are a lot of women that watch this channel, which I'm very grateful for. So thank you so much for that. But if you're compelled to dismiss things like that, no, it too is a sense. It makes me, oh my gosh, I get so frustrated now that I kind of am in this different world where I hang out with men more. Some of them tried to sympathize with me and be like, oh, they're just PMSing. No. You're being an insensitive jerk. That's really what, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's a very deeply psychic time for people. So all of this to say, sink into your senses, and that sensuality is not just about sexuality and pleasure senses, but also the ones that communicate information to you from a very deeply embodied place, right? So it's also keeping that in mind too, Pisces, that like with every fiber of your being, you are taking raw materials and turning them into something profound. That is your gift right now. That's what you need to nurture. So being in touch with your body, being in touch with your senses, and not dismissing it as frivolous knowledge, not dismissing it as like, knowledge. No, I think that there's something really incredible about a woman's body to bleed every month and to be okay still, like to create life. And it's like I feel like there should be more reverence and respect for it. Like so anyways, before I rant on that, I just feel like being in touch with yourself and those senses about you and the ways that you're changing in your seasons of life too, right? Like I said on T, I'm releasing menstruating, so it's like that's a season, honoring that as a sense. There's senses that are going to come up for you in that, so it's honoring all of that for yourself. It's honoring all of it, Pisces, because it's all information that's going to help you understand what to hear when you feel like you're in this moon and you can't see. So I'm gonna pull from the Miracles Now deck before I blab further on. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces, for my Pisces friends here? Whoa. I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. 400%. Yes. Yeah. This is about that. Like, I feel like the other thing to keep in mind too is that when we're connected to our senses, when we are connected to our senses, what also happens is we are able to understand when we are depleted and when we need to be recharged. And let me do this here. I feel like these are taking up a lot of space and it's all I can see. Sorry, Pisces. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces? The qualities I dislike in others are disowned parts of my shadow. This could be part of the alchemical work that you're doing and with your energy and things like that. Like it could be this aspect of like what you're turning into. Like you're taking one material, this transmutation. You're taking one material and turning it into another. So I'll read this card to you one more time, Pisces. I release the negative thoughts and expectations of myself, others, and the world. It is easy for me to transform negative beliefs and expectations into positive and supporting ones, and so I do. I recognize the power of my thoughts and words as they vibrate through the universe, creating my future reality. I transform. Yeah. You're really powerful right now, Pisces. Very powerful. I hope that you recognize it because this was your reading. This is your reading. Like I'm feeling the effects of your power. It's very, I hope you're paying attention. So if this resonated, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'm really grateful for your eyes and your time. So thank you for that. And in addition to that, there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel. So feel free to check that out. But if this is where we part, my darling Pisces, my darlings, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very well. Thanks, and have a great weekend. Bye.